Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine. Today I'm going to lead you through some exercises you can do at home. I'm going to mix it up a little bit though. I've talked to you about different formats of doing your program, and lots of times I run through all, 6, 7, 8 exercises, whatever we do, in a sequence, in a circuit, and that's a great way to get your exercise in so you can rest muscles while you're working other muscles. So today I'm going to show you a different format where you kind of work in pairs. So these are called, you can call these supersets, or you can pair them up, however you want to decide. And I'm going to do the two back to back, show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll move on to the next two. But what you can do is do the first two exercises, press pause, and go back and forth between the two. So we're going to do an upper body and then a lower body, for instance. So you can be resting your upper body while you're working your lower body, and go back and forth between the two to get a good superset in before you move on to the next one. Okay, so we're going to start with a row on the bench. So if you have a bench, this is we want to keep a nice flat back here. If you don't have a bench, you can use a coffee table, or you can use a couple sturdy chairs. You can use the side of your bed. You can use a lot of different things to put your knee and your hand on the same side, so you can keep a nice flat back. And then we're going to row up a weight here. So if you don't have any dumbbells, you can use a water jug. You can use water bottles, things like that, to get this weight. So all I'm doing is driving my elbow towards the ceiling, thinking about squeezing that shoulder blade on that side towards my spine. Now when I come down, I don't want to let my shoulder droop here. I'm keeping a nice flat back, driving my elbow up the entire time, like I said, with my flat back. So I'm not going to be turning here or anything like that, just pulling this weight straight towards my shoulder. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. So we'll go to the other side of the bench, or you can turn around if you're on the side of a bed, whatever you're able to do in your home. I'm going to just switch sides of the bench. Nice and slowly, both directions. Try to keep your head in line with your spine. So we don't want to be looking up like this, wrenching your neck, or looking way down. We want to keep everything in a good alignment. Nice and slow, breathing both directions. Never hold your breath with these. Okay, now we're going to take that weight in your hands. I gotta make sure I'm on the screen here. And we're going to do squats. So take the weight in both hands, and if you want to, you can sit next to that bench that you were just doing to make sure that you're in good alignment. Similar to doing a sit to stand. You want to sit back on those heels, stand up, keeping your feet. If you have any knee pain, you can turn your knees out just a little bit. You can kind of experiment with how far apart your knees are, and if you want to try a little wider and put your feet kind of pointing out just a little ways, that's okay. That can kind of protect your knees if you're having any knee pain. Keeping your chest tall, sitting your hips back like you're going to sit down into a chair. And we'll do 10 of these. And 10. Okay, now, in order to do this superset, what you would do is go right back into this row. So now we'll go into the row, both sides, and then back into the squat. Okay, so if you've pressed pause and you're moving on, next we're going to lie down on the floor with a ball. So we're going to do a ball bridge with our feet on the ball. So we're going to lie down like this. The further you have your feet on the ball, like way out here will be harder. Closer into your knees will be easier. So we've done bridges with our feet on the floor. Now we're going to try them with our feet up on the ball. If you don't have a ball, that's fine. Just do these on the floor. So we're going to press up and then right back down. So remember, you want to flatten your back to the floor, press up into a nice straight line, and come back down. Now, If you're finding this is really hard, move that ball closer in and then bridge up there. That gives you more stability. It's closer in towards your center of gravity. If you're finding you want to challenge it a little more, just walk it out. So you can change it even every repetition depending on what you're feeling and what you might need. Remember to flatten that back towards the floor before you go up into your bridge. And the other thing here is the longer you hold it, the harder it's going to be. So you're going to be feeling this in your hamstrings and your glutes. So if you want to hold it for a good count of 5, 4, 5, before you come down, that's great. If you get up in here and you're like, "Oh, this is really hard," then come down a little sooner. You don't want to push it. You don't want to end up feeling too unbalanced. Or if you're feeling like you're going to get a cramp in your hamstrings, come down. I don't want you to get a cramp. Let's do 3 more. And remember to breathe the whole way through these. And good, rest. Okay, now we're going to come up on top of the ball. And we're going to do bird dog on the ball. So again, if you don't have a ball, do this on the floor with your hands and your knees. So we're going to roll up on top of the ball here with your hands and your feet both touching the ground. I'm trying to be in the camera here. All right, so what I want you to do is we're going to reach one leg back and one arm forward. So the opposite arm and leg are going to reach away from each other. And then switch. So balancing on the ball gives us just a little added difficulty. We're working your posterior chain here, all of the muscles all the way up and down your back. The backs of your legs, the backs of your shoulders are all engaging here. If you're feeling like this is way too much on top of the ball, then just go down on the floor on your hands and knees instead. It's the same exercise. This can just add a little bit more instability. The other thing is if this is hurting your tummy being on the ball like this, then the same thing. Just go down to your hands and knees on the floor. If you're having any shoulder pain with this, you can also just do your leg and just lift up your hand, your opposite hand. So do your leg, lift up your hand. You don't have to reach out if you're having shoulder pain. I'm going to do one more here on each side. Good. Now if you're doing your superset, flip back over, do your bridges on your ball, and then back into your bird dog. So do 2 to 3 sets of each one of those. Okay, so come back from your pause, and next we're going to do step out punches with a water jug. So most people have a jug of water laying around their house somewhere. If you don't, that's okay. You can also just do this with a dumbbell, but having this water jug adds a little bit more difficulty. So I'm going to move this bench back out of my way. Make sure when you're doing these exercises, you don't have equipment laying on the floor to trip on and have a hazard. So I'm holding this water jug in my hands. I'm going to be just kind of start in athletic stance. I want to step out to one side and punch it. Make it slosh. So we're just stepping out side to side. Like I said, if you don't have a water jug handy, you can use a dumbbell. Maybe don't quite do the punch part. So if you do just have a dumbbell, maybe just reach out instead of doing the slosh and the punch. But I'd like to add some explosive movements into our workouts to keep those muscles fresh, keep surprising our muscles, keep doing some different stuff. Again, always, if you're having any pain with this, stop. You can always, like I said, use that dumbbell you were using and just press out both directions. So there's different ways you can do this. And we're gonna go about 10 times to each side. I've lost track of how many we've done. Okay. Next, in between here, we're going to do a balance exercise. So we're gonna do a starfish hold. So you're working, your heart rate's up, and now we're just gonna hold a balance move. So our goal is to work on this for about 30 seconds on each side. The further you lean away from your center, the harder this is. So if this is really hard, come here. Just bring your foot out to the side just a little. Again, you can always do this at a stable surface like a countertop with a sink or a good sturdy railing, somewhere where you can grab on if you do start to lose your balance. So you can kind of decide your level here. And now we're going to switch sides. So straighten up, level your shoulders, and tip over to the other side. So we're going to work on about 30 seconds on this side. Remember, if that's too hard, come here, and you can definitely add more challenge to this as you get stronger and as your balance improves. So you can, remember, do this at a countertop or a railing, somewhere sturdy to hang on. Okay, that was 30. Now, go back to the step out punches. Do those for 10 on each side, and then come back to the balance. So rotate through those 1 to 2 more times. Okay. Press pause, come back. Now we're gonna do bicep curls sitting on the ball. So the great thing about the ball is it can give us a little bit of stability. Like if you do have back pain, it's good to sit on the ball because it can kind of open things up. But also, there's a certain amount of balance involved in sitting on a ball and a little bit of core. So there's lots of benefits to using a ball. So we're gonna do some bicep curls sitting on the ball. It can be a challenge depending on your ball and depending on how inflated or deflated it might be, whether you have to kind of bring your biceps, the weights out to the side a little bit. So it might be easier to do this way, which is called a hammer curl. So you don't really have to bring the weights out too far to the side, depending on how your elbows and your shoulders are feeling with this. Remember to go slowly both directions. Make sure you do let your elbow go all the way straight at the end of this. Because we're sitting on a ball, it makes it easy to kind of maybe stop here, but notice there's still a bend in my elbow. You want to go all the way down, getting a good straight elbow. Breathing all the way. The reason you want to do that is so that you have a full range. You're working that muscle in the full range all the way through. We're not going to stop it and work it in a shortened range. Okay, and then stay up on that ball. And we're going to do some ab leans. If you want to, you can hold the weight here or just put them down on the ground. That's probably the easiest way to do this, is just set the weights on the ground. Put your hands across like this. This is the easiest, to put your hands here on your thighs. I'm keeping my torso nice and tall, kind of rolling a little bit on the ball. If this feels okay and you don't have any back pain, you can put your hands here. Keep breathing. And then if this doesn't feel like you're doing all that much, you can put your hands behind your head. Add a little bit more leverage here, adding a longer lever. Okay, good. So 10 of those. Now grab those biceps, grab those weights, do 10 more bicep curls, and then go into 10 more ab leans. Do that 1 to 2 more times through. After you've finished all of these supersets, then stretch and cool down and make sure you breathe throughout the entire thing. All right, I hope you enjoy this. Let me know what you think of the new, it's not new, I've explained it in different ways to do your workouts, but sometimes having a, just a really solid, like, all right, this is what we're gonna do today. So, like I said, you can still just do it as a circuit like we have been doing and then come back and do it all again. or try the supersets and let me know what you think. All right, have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.